The story about the £26.5 million ghost, the Northern Bank Heist, the perfect crime. It's often said that the perfect crime doesn't exist, that somewhere, somehow, a mistake is always made. A fingerprint left on a glass, a witness who saw too much, a loose thread that unravels the whole sweater. But what if you didn't need to break in? What if you didn't need explosives, tunnel-boring machines, or a team of hackers? What if you just needed the keys? On a cold December night in 2004, in the heart of Belfast, a gang of men pulled off the single biggest bank robbery in British and Irish history. They walked away with £26.5 million. They didn't break down the doors, they walked right through them. And when they vanished into the night, they didn't just take the cash, they nearly took the Northern Ireland peace process down with them. This is the story of the Northern Bank robbery. And 20 years later, the question remains, how did they get away with it? The knock on the door. To understand this heist, you have to understand that it didn't start at the bank. It started in the living rooms of two terrified families. This was a classic tiger kidnapping tactic, where criminals take a family hostage to force an employee to facilitate a crime. It's Sunday, December 19th. Two key employees of the Northern Bank are settling in for the evening. Chris Ward, a bank official, is at his home in Polglass, West Belfast. Kevin McMullen, a supervisor, is at his home in Downpatrick. Around 10 p.m., there's a knock at the door at the McMullen residence. Men dressed as police officers are standing there. They claim to be investigating a security threat. But the moment the door opens, the facade drops. Gunmen storm in. At the exact same time, 30 miles away, the same nightmare is unfolding for Chris Ward. The gang is coordinated, precise, military. They take Kevin McMullen's wife, Karen, from her home. Blindfolded and terrified, she is driven into the darkness of a remote forest. Chris Ward's family is held at gunpoint right there in their own living room. The message to both men is identical and chilling. Go to work tomorrow, do exactly as we say, or your families die. Business as usual Monday morning. December 20th, the week before Christmas, the streets of Belfast are buzzing with holiday shopping. Inside the Northern Bank headquarters at Donegal Square West, the vaults are overflowing with cash, stocked up for the holiday rush. Chris Ward and Kevin McMullen arrive for work. To their colleagues, it's just another Monday, but both men are wearing wires, or rather, they are carrying mobile phones provided by the gang, waiting for instructions. Every move they make is being watched. The psychological pressure is immense. At lunch, the phone rings. It's the test. The gang orders Chris Ward to go to the vault, take a sports bag, and fill it with £1 million in cash. He has to walk it out of the bank, down the street to a bus stop, and hand it to a stranger. Imagine that walk, carrying £1 million in a gym bag, surrounded by police patrols, CCTV, and pedestrians. Ward hands the bag over. The stranger takes it and walks away. It was a test of obedience, and they pass. The heist. With the test complete, the real operation begins. It's now after closing time. The bank is locked up. The cleaners are working. Chris Ward and Kevin McMullen remain inside. They unlock the main vaults. Inside are crates, literally crates of cash. Millions in sterling, millions in euros, millions in US dollars. The gang's instructions are braced. They don't want the money in duffel bag. They want it in the trash. The employees are ordered to pack the cash into large plastic rubbish bags. Why? Because nobody looks twice at a white van picking up garbage bags from a service entrance. At 7 p.m., a white van pulls into the loading bay on Wellington Street. The employees wheel out trolleys of cash disguised as waste. They load the van. The van drives off, but they aren't done. Amazingly, the van comes back for a second load. This takes hours. By the time the van leaves for the final time, it is carrying £26.5 million. That is roughly 40 to 50 million US dollars today. The gang clears out of the employees' homes. They scrub surfaces with bleach to destroy DNA evidence. They even take the cigarette butts and used cups. They leave nothing behind but the trauma, the aftermath. It isn't until late that night that the alarm is finally raised. Karen McMullen, who had been held in a freezing forest near Ballynahinch, manages to stumble to a nearby house for help. She is suffering from hypothermia, but she is alive. When the police arrive at the bank, the scale of the crime becomes apparent. The vaults are empty. The immediate investigation is massive. The Police Service of Northern Ireland, PSNI, locks down the city, but the trail is cold. The forensic cleanup at the houses was professional. The van is gone. The money is gone. But the biggest problem wasn't just the theft. It was who was blamed for it. Almost immediately, the chief constable of the PSNI, the British government, and the Irish government point the finger at one group, the Provisional IRA, dirty money and dead end. This accusation dropped a bomb on the peace process. Sinn Féin and the IRA denied it flat out. They called it a conspiracy to derail political progress. But intelligence agencies argued that only the IRA had the manpower, the intelligence network, and the discipline to pull off a job this complex without a single leak. The mystery remains. So, where does that leave us today? In the years following the robbery, there were arrests. There were raids in Cork and Dublin where millions in cash were found stuffed in compost bags. A financial advisor was jailed for money laundering. But as for the robbery itself, No one has ever been convicted. Chris Ward, the bank employee, was actually charged as an inside man in 2008, but the case against him collapsed. The judge ruled the evidence was insufficient, and Ward was cleared of all charges, maintaining he was just a victim of a horrific crime. 26 million pounds, a city held hostage, a government nearly toppled, and yet the men who knocked on those doors in December 2004 walked away into the darkness and they never came back. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into true crime history, hit that like button and subscribe for more.